Australia Day is fast approaching, and for the Northern Territory finalist for Australian of the Year, it's going to be difficult. Rosalie Kunoth-Monks is probably best known as an outspoken advocate for Indigenous people.
She grew up on the remote Utopia station. We call it remote, she doesn't, and that's her home now as well. Over the decades, she's been an actor and nun for about 10 years and a political advisor, but she reckons she's still got plenty of unfinished business. When I spoke to her earlier, she admitted she feels a little conflicted as an Indigenous woman receiving an accolade on Australia Day. Rosalie, congratulations on being the Northern Territory Australian of the Year. How are you feeling about being a nominee for Australian of the Year?
Yeah, it's a mixture. Certainly honoured by people, endorsing me. But also there is unfinished business in the realm of Aboriginal issues, which is in full flight, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I find myself like the meat in the sandwich. However, I also feel the strength to be able to bring our communities together. So those are unfinished business which I will pursue, and in that trying to find some truth.
What are the priorities for you that the Australian government, the Australian people should be looking to improve the lives of Indigenous Australians?
I think, as I said, it is looking at truthfully the journey the governments have taken up to this time, and to really look at it from the viewpoint of the First Nations and let them have a say in prioritising what their needs are to become equal with the rest of Australian community. You know, what I hope for my grandchildren is that they take their place as equals within the safety of the existing culture of their people, which are the First Nations people, and from there access any knowledge from around the world. Do not use the education journey as an assimilationist, destructive force on the First Nations people. But that doesn't only apply to First Nations people, it also applies across the sphere with our young people. A lot of them are disillusioned, and that's where I'd like to concentrate on the children as well as the elderly, and also to try and assist in the elimination of poverty, which should not exist in Australia.
Rosalie, I wonder if, more of a personal story for you, I wonder if you've become reflective on winning this award, the Northern Territory Australian of the Year, nominee for Australian of the Year, and the life you've led was back in the 50s that you starred in that film Jeddah. So you've been involved in entertainment, you've lived and worked as a nun for some years, and you've also been heavily involved in social work and politics and been a great advocate over the years. Have you been looking back at your life and sort of remembering fondly those different services that you performed?
Yes, indeed. I've not regretted at all my journey, but at the back of that mind always was that I must not slip up. I am a First Nations person, therefore I've got to be very careful in how I conduct myself. And in saying that, it was the fear of being judged as the other, something different from the mainstream, because you were never actually accepted unless you spoke perfect English. You were not invited into people's dining rooms to dine and just have a civil conversation. You were always looked on as someone who's about to slip off the radar. So I've made sure that I've tried to live a fulfilling life. And I still continue to do so and still enjoy the challenges right across the board.
I guess you'll meet the other nominees, of course, but and spend time with them. But also, you know, Australian Day, as it is controversial as well.
Yes, indeed. I was saying, to find yourself as the meat in the sandwich, I really am right in the middle. I am aware of people, my people, coming to Canberra. I think they're having a sit-in while maybe I'm having breakfast with the Governor-General or whatever. So I will try very hard to be honest and also to be inclusive of our people within this great country of ours. However, I will not tolerate anything that puts down the First Nations people.